every father carries a story within him, even if he doesn't always know how to tell it. And there are few reminders more powerful of the importance of our stories than the life and work of James Patterson, a literary legend whose books have touched millions. But this is not only about writing. This is about showing up as a father, about shaping the next generation, about understanding that your presence and your words have the power to last far beyond your own time on this earth. Today, I want to talk to you about what every dad should know, lessons that echo from the example of a man who never stopped believing that stories could change lives. James Patterson's career is built on discipline. That is the first lesson every dad must understand. Discipline is not a punishment, it is a gift. It is the structure that allows your children to feel safe, to know that someone will always be there, to trust that the world has a framework they can lean on when everything else feels uncertain. Patterson woke up every morning to write. He wrote when he felt inspired, and he wrote when he felt tired. He wrote through rejection, and he wrote through success. As a father, you will be called to do the same. You will get up when you feel strong, and you will get up when you feel broken. You will show up for your children, not just when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. And you will discover that this steady rhythm, this unbreakable commitment, becomes the very heartbeat of your family. Another lesson Patterson shows us is curiosity. He never stopped asking questions. He never stopped exploring. He never accepted the easy answer. As a dad, your curiosity about your children is one of the most loving things you can give them. When you ask, "How are you really feeling?" or "What are you dreaming about?" or "What are you afraid of?" you are telling them that their thoughts and their hearts matter. You are giving them permission to be fully human in front of you. In a world that often tries to silence young voices, your curiosity makes them feel seen. Your interest tells them they are worthy of attention, worthy of care, worthy of respect. Patterson teaches us about resilience. He faced countless rejections before he ever tasted success. He believed in his stories long before the world believed in them. As a dad, you will face moments when you wonder if you're good enough, if you're making a difference, if the sacrifices you make are even noticed. And I am here to remind you that they are. They are noticed in the way your child looks at you after a long day. They are noticed in the quiet moments when your presence alone is enough to soothe their fear. They are noticed in the ways your example becomes part of their own story. You may not always see the results right away, but your resilience plants seeds that will grow long after you're gone. James Patterson is also proof that creativity is not reserved for the chosen few. Creativity is the birthright of every person willing to look at the world with wonder. As a father, you have the opportunity to help your children discover their own creativity. Whether it's building something in the garage, drawing pictures at the kitchen table, telling bedtime stories that have never been told before, or simply listening to their wild ideas, you are nurturing a spirit of possibility. You are teaching them that life is not something to endure, but something to shape. You are showing them that their ideas can become reality. And there is something else every dad must know. Consistency matters more than perfection. Patterson wrote book after book, not because every word he wrote was perfect, but because he kept showing up. You will have days as a father when you feel like you've failed, when you lose your temper, when you forget something important, when you feel stretched too thin to offer anything more. But your children do not need you to be flawless. They need you to keep coming back. They need to know that even on your worst day, your love for them does not waver. In the end, it is your consistency that will leave the deepest mark on their hearts. James Patterson also reminds us of the importance of collaboration. He worked with co-authors, editors, illustrators. He understood that no great work is created alone. As a dad, you are not meant to parent alone. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to lean on your partner, your family, your friends. It is okay to admit that you don't have all the answers. When you model collaboration, you teach your children that strength is not about isolation, but about connection. You teach them that it is brave to ask for support, and it is wise to listen to others. Another lesson from Patterson is generosity. He has donated millions to literacy programs and education. He has used his success to give back. As a father, your generosity begins at home. It is not only about money, but about time, about listening, about believing in your children even when they doubt themselves. It is about the small, everyday moments when you choose to be kind, to forgive, to be patient. Your generosity of spirit will teach your children how to be generous with the world. You must also remember that your story matters. Patterson never forgot that his own voice was worth sharing. Your story as a father, where you came from, what you've overcome, what you believe, these things are the foundation of the legacy you will leave. Don't hide your struggles from your children. Let them see that you are human. Let them see that you have known failure, disappointment, loss. Let them see that you kept going anyway. When they see your humanity, they will learn that they, too, can survive their hardest days. One of the most powerful things Patterson teaches is the courage to reinvent yourself. He did not stay in one genre. He did not cling to what was safe. He kept experimenting. As a father, you will grow and change. You are not the same man today that you were before your children were born, and you will not be the same man 10 years from now. That is something to celebrate, not fear. Your evolution as a father is a testament to your love. It is proof that you care enough to keep learning, to keep trying, to keep becoming the father your children need. You also must know the power of presence. Patterson could have let his success consume him. He could have hidden behind deadlines and contracts, but he always made time for what mattered most. No achievement will ever mean more than the moments you spend with your children. No title, no paycheck, no accolade will ever replace the memories you build together. So be present. Put down your phone, look them in the eye, listen without distraction. Those are the moments they will remember. Those are the moments that will shape who they become. Patterson's life reminds us that the stories we tell can change the world. As a father, you are telling a story every day. The way you speak to your children is shaping their inner voice. The way you treat others is teaching them what respect looks like. The way you handle stress, failure, joy, love, these are all stories they will carry with them. Be intentional about the story you are writing. Make it one of kindness, courage, and hope. You must also understand the importance of faith in yourself, in your children, in something greater than you. Patterson believed in the power of books long before anyone else did. He held on to that faith through every rejection letter. As a dad, you will be called to have faith when the path ahead is unclear. You will be asked to trust that your love is enough, that your effort matters, that your sacrifices are not in vain. And even when you cannot see the results, you must believe that your presence is planting seeds that will grow in time. And there is another truth every father should hold close: laughter matters. Patterson's stories often carry suspense and drama, but he also knew the value of lightness. Life with children can be chaotic, exhausting, overwhelming, but it can also be filled with joy. Make room for laughter, be silly, play games, tell jokes, dance in the living room. When you laugh with your children, you teach them that happiness does not depend on circumstances. It is something you can create together, and always remember that the love you give your children is never wasted. Even on days when you feel unseen, even on days when your efforts go unappreciated, even on days when it feels like nothing you do is enough, your love is still shaping their hearts. Your love is still the foundation they will stand on when the world tries to knock them down. Your love is the most important story you will ever write. There is something profoundly powerful about a father who refuses to give up on his children. James Patterson never gave up on his stories, no matter how many times others doubted him. In the same way, your children will encounter moments when they doubt themselves, when the world tells them they are not enough, when their dreams feel too big or too far away. In those moments, your unwavering belief in them will become their lifeline. You may not be able to remove every obstacle from their path, but you can stand beside them and remind them that they are never alone. You can be the voice that says, "I believe in you." over and over until they start to believe it too. Another lesson from Patterson's journey is the importance of routine. He built habits that sustained his creativity and productivity. As a father, the routines you establish in your home will help your children feel anchored, whether it's eating dinner together, reading stories before bed, taking walks in the evening, or simply checking in with each other every day. These rituals become the threads that weave your family together. They provide stability in an unpredictable world. They remind your children that no matter how busy life gets, there are sacred moments reserved just for them. Patterson's work also shows us that success is not defined by any single moment. It is built over years of consistent effort, small steps, and a refusal to stop trying. As a dad, you are engaged in the slow work of building a life. There will be milestones, birthdays, graduations, first jobs, but the real success lies in the thousands of small interactions that happen in between. The nights you stayed up with a sick child, the afternoons you spent coaching a team, the mornings you made pancakes before school. These are the moments that create a childhood. These are the moments that matter most, and you must never underestimate the power of words. Patterson's stories have reached millions, not because they were always perfect, but because they spoke to something universal. Your words as a father are just as powerful. The way you speak to your children can either build them up or break them down. Choose your words carefully. Use them to encourage, to guide, to heal. Tell your children that you are proud of them. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that you see their goodness. Even when they make mistakes, remind them that no mistake can ever separate them from your love. Patterson also teaches us that passion is contagious. He poured his passion for storytelling into every project. As a father, your passion for life will inspire your children more than any lecture ever could. When they see you pursuing what you love, whether it's your work, your hobbies, or your dreams, they learn that it's okay to care deeply about something. They learn that fulfillment comes from giving your whole heart to what matters most. Share your passions with them. Invite them into the things that light you up inside. Let them see you excited, curious, and alive. There will be days when you question whether you are doing any of this right. That is normal. Patterson faced doubt many times, wondering if anyone would ever care about the stories he was writing. He kept going anyway. As a dad, you will never have all the answers, but you don't have to. Your willingness to keep showing up, to keep learning, to keep loving. That is what makes you a great father. One of the greatest gifts you can give your children is your attention. In a world full of distractions, focused attention has become rare and precious. When you put aside your phone, your worries, your to-do list, and truly listen to your children, you are telling them, "You are worth my time." You are saying, "Nothing is more important to me than you." This kind of presence is healing. It gives your children the confidence to trust themselves and the courage to share their hearts with you. Patterson's success also reminds us that humility is essential. Despite his achievements, he never stopped listening to feedback. He never assumed he knew everything. As a father, humility will serve you well. It means being willing to apologize when you get it wrong. It means listening to your children's perspectives, even when they differ from your own. It means recognizing that you are learning, too, and that it's okay to grow alongside your children. When you model humility, you teach them that strength is not about being right all the time. It's about being willing to learn and change. Your children will remember how you made them feel. Long after they forget the gifts you bought or the rules you enforced, they will remember whether they felt safe with you, whether they felt accepted, whether they felt loved. Make it your mission to create an atmosphere of belonging. Let your home be a place where your children know they are valued just as they are. When the world feels harsh, let your love be the refuge they can return to again and again. James Patterson's discipline and output show us that persistence creates results that no single burst of effort ever could. As a father, you will not always see immediate results from the lessons you teach. Sometimes it will feel like your words are falling on deaf ears, but seeds take time to grow. Keep planting them anyway. Years from now, your children will remember the lessons you repeated, the values you embodied, the quiet strength you showed when times were hard. Your consistency is shaping them in ways you cannot yet see. Patterson also understood the importance of adaptability. He moved fluidly between genres and audiences, reinventing himself over and over. Parenting demands the same flexibility. As your children grow, their needs will change. The father they need at 5 is not the father they will need at 15. Be willing to adapt. Be willing to meet them where they are. When you are flexible, you communicate that you value them as individuals and that your love will evolve to fit the season they are in. And perhaps most importantly, never forget that your love is enough. The world may try to convince you that you have to be richer, more successful, more accomplished to be a good father. That is a lie. What your children need most is you. Your time, your attention, your patience, your affection. When you show up with an open heart, when you choose to love even when it's hard, you are giving them everything they truly need. There will be moments when you feel overwhelmed by the weight of fatherhood. When that happens, remember that you do not have to be perfect. You only have to be present. You only have to love your children in the best way you know how, one day at a time. You are enough exactly as you are. James Patterson teaches us that one person's dedication can touch countless lives. As a father, you have the same power. Your influence will ripple outward into your children's friendships, their work, their own families someday. Every time you choose patience over anger, compassion over judgment, hope over despair, you are changing the world in ways you may never fully understand. So keep going, keep showing up, keep writing the story of your family with love, courage, and grace. Someday your children will look back and realize that you were their first hero, their first teacher, their first example of what it means to be a good man, and in that realization, they will find the strength to become their best selves. As you continue your journey as a father, remember that you are also your children's first storyteller. Every day, you are helping them make sense of the world, helping them understand what matters, what is possible, and what it means to be loved. James Patterson knew that stories have the power to shape beliefs, to inspire action, to heal wounds we don't always talk about. Your stories, both the ones you tell and the ones you live, will leave an imprint on your children's hearts that no one else can create. Tell them the stories of where you came from. Share the moments when you struggled, the moments when you triumphed, the moments when you were afraid but kept going anyway. These stories are not just entertainment. They are gifts of perspective. They show your children that they come from resilience, that they come from love, that they come from people who never stopped trying. And as you tell these stories, be mindful of the words you choose. Words can build or break. They can heal or wound. They can open doors or close them. Patterson knew that each sentence mattered. In the same way, every conversation you have with your children matters. When you choose words that lift them up, that remind them of their worth, that encourage them to trust themselves, you are giving them a foundation that no failure can ever shake. One day, your children will face challenges you cannot prevent. They will have to find their own way through disappointment, heartbreak, and uncertainty. But if you have spent years showing them that they are strong, that they are loved, that they are never alone, they will carry your voice within them as a source of strength. Patterson's work also teaches us the power of imagination. He never let the limitations of the real world stop him from dreaming up new possibilities. As a father, you can be the protector of your children's imagination. When they share their wild ideas, listen with respect. When they invent games and stories, join them. When they dream out loud, remind them that dreaming is not childish, it is courageous. Your encouragement will teach them that imagination is a tool they can use to solve problems, to envision a better world, to discover who they are. And do not forget to celebrate small victories. Patterson did not wait until he became a best-selling author to feel proud. He celebrated each milestone along the way. As a father, celebrate the little things your children accomplish. The first time they tie their shoes, the day they stand up for a friend, the moment they learn to say, "I'm sorry." These moments are not small. They are evidence of growth, courage, and character. When you notice and celebrate them, you teach your children that their efforts matter. Patterson's success also reminds us that criticism is part of any worthwhile pursuit. No matter how talented he was, there were always people who doubted his work. As a father, you will face criticism, sometimes from the world, sometimes from your own self-doubt, but you must hold fast to the truth that your love and your effort are enough. No one else has the right to define your worth as a father. Only you and your children know the bond you share. There will be days when you feel like you've failed. Maybe you lose your temper, or you forget something important, or you simply feel too tired to be patient. When that happens, forgive yourself. Apologize when you need to. Start again. Your willingness to be humble and to keep trying is far more powerful than any appearance of perfection. Patterson also teaches us that success is built on countless hours of unseen work. The public sees the finished book on the shelf, but they don't see the early drafts, the late nights, the rejections. As a father, much of your most important work will be invisible to the world. No one may see the nights you stay up comforting a child who is sick or scared. No one may notice the extra hours you work to provide for your family. No one may applaud the patience it takes to teach, to listen, to guide, but all of it matters. All of it is building something lasting and beautiful. And you must never forget that your presence is irreplaceable. Patterson's books have been translated into dozens of languages, but none of that would matter if he had not first believed that he had something to share. Your presence in your children's lives is a story only you can write. No one else can take your place. No one else can be their father. Even when you feel ordinary, to them, you are extraordinary. Even when you feel unsure, to them, you are the anchor that holds them steady. You are the first example your children will see of what love looks like. Make it a love that is patient and forgiving. Make it a love that has boundaries but also mercy. Make it a love that says, no matter what you do or who you become, you will always have a place here. That kind of love is the foundation on which they will build their own lives. Patterson also knew that storytelling is about connection. Every book he wrote was a bridge between himself and his readers. As a father, you have the chance to build a bridge to your children every single day. That bridge is built from shared experiences, from quiet conversations, from the moments you choose to be fully present. It does not require grand gestures. It requires consistency, honesty, and an open heart. When you look back on your life someday, you will not remember every detail of your career or the balance in your bank account. You will remember the way your children's faces lit up when you walked into the room. You will remember the nights you sat up talking about their dreams. You will remember the hugs, the laughter, the moments when you realized that being their father was the most important work you would ever do. And if you ever doubt whether you are making a difference, remember that James Patterson did not know when he wrote his first story whether anyone would care. He wrote because he believed it mattered. You are showing up as a father for the same reason, because you believe your love matters, because you know deep down that your presence is shaping a story far bigger than yourself. Someday, your children will tell the story of their lives. They will talk about the people who influenced them, the moments that defined them, the lessons they carried with them into adulthood. When they tell that story, they will speak your name with gratitude. They will remember the sacrifices you made, the lessons you taught, the love you gave so freely. And in that moment, you will understand that every hard day, every long night, every moment of doubt was worth it. Because you will have given your children something no one else could give, a foundation of love and strength that will support them for the rest of their lives. So keep writing your story one day at a time. Keep loving your children with everything you have. Keep believing that your efforts matter, even when no one sees them, because they do. They matter more than you will ever know. Every father must understand that love is not measured in grand gestures alone. It is measured in the thousands of small, quiet moments that often go unnoticed. James Patterson's success was not a lightning strike. It was the result of daily discipline, an accumulation of effort over years. So it is with fatherhood. It is built in the mornings when you help tie shoelaces, in the evenings when you listen to stories that don't always make sense, in the car rides when your child looks out the window but knows you are there beside them. These are the moments that teach your children what it feels like to be loved without conditions. Patterson teaches us that mastery comes from repetition. You don't have to be an expert to begin. You only have to start, and to keep starting again every day. When you became a father, you were not handed a manual. You learned by trying, by failing, by adjusting, and you will keep learning because fatherhood is a lifelong apprenticeship in love. You will make mistakes. You will question yourself, but every time you choose to show up again, you are modeling resilience. You are teaching your children that learning is a process, not an event. One of the most powerful lessons you can teach is that failure is not the end. Patterson received rejection after rejection before he published his first book, but he did not let those rejections define his worth or determine his destiny. As a father, you have the opportunity to teach your children that failure is simply feedback. When they fall short, when they lose, when they feel embarrassed or ashamed, you can be the steady voice that says, "This does not define you. This is just one moment in a much bigger story." Your perspective will help them see that life is not about avoiding failure, but about rising after it. You must also remember that your patience is a gift. Patterson's books often required months or years of careful crafting. In the same way, your children will grow at their own pace. They will test your limits, push your buttons, and sometimes break your heart. But your steady, patient love will be the soil in which they grow confident and strong. Every time you take a deep breath instead of raising your voice, every time you choose understanding over anger, you are giving them a living example of what it means to be patient and kind. Patterson's journey is proof that you don't have to fit into someone else's mold to make an impact. He didn't try to write like everyone else. He wrote the stories that only he could tell. As a father, you do not have to parent like anyone else. You don't have to compare yourself to the fathers you see on social media, or the fathers in your neighborhood, or even the father you imagined you'd be. Your children don't need a perfect father, they need you. They need the father who tries, who cares, who is willing to learn. There will be times when you are exhausted, when you come home after a long day, and all you want is a moment to yourself. In those moments, remember that your presence, even your imperfect, tired presence, is often enough. Sometimes all your child needs is to sit next to you. Sometimes all they need is your hand resting on their shoulder. Sometimes all they need is your voice saying, "I love you exactly as you are." Patterson's stories have reached people of all ages and backgrounds because he understood that every reader deserves respect. As a father, you can show your children that same respect. Listen to their ideas, even when they sound naive. Value their feelings, even when they seem irrational. When you respect your children, you teach them to respect themselves. You show them that their voices matter. And remember that no day is too ordinary to be meaningful. You don't have to wait for birthdays, vacations, or special occasions to create memories. The ordinary days, the mornings when you make breakfast together, the afternoons when you walk the dog, the evenings when you watch a movie as a family. These are the days your children will look back on and treasure most. Patterson's discipline reminds us that consistency is often more powerful than intensity. You don't have to do everything perfectly, and you don't have to do everything at once. You only have to keep showing up, day after day, with a willing heart. Over time, those daily acts of love and commitment will become a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. Your role as a father will evolve. One day, the little hands that reach for yours will grow bigger. The questions your children ask will become more complicated. The problems they face will no longer be solved with a bandage or a bedtime story. But the love you offer now will become the trust that allows them to keep coming to you. It will be the memory that tells them you are never alone. You will teach them many things: how to ride a bike, how to treat others with kindness, how to stand up for what they believe in. But perhaps the most important thing you will teach is this: that they are worthy of love simply because they exist. Not because of what they do or what they achieve, but because of who they are. When you offer them that kind of love, you set them free from the endless pressure to prove themselves. You give them a sense of belonging that no disappointment can ever take away. James Patterson never stopped creating. Even when he could have rested on his past successes, he kept imagining, kept experimenting, kept working. As a father, you are also an artist. You are shaping the story of your family, one choice at a time. There will be chapters filled with laughter and chapters marked by struggle, but every chapter is important. Every chapter belongs, and if you ever wonder whether your story matters, look into your children's eyes. See the way they light up when you walk into the room. Feel the way their small arms wrap around your neck. Listen to the way they call your name when they need help or comfort or reassurance. That is all the proof you need that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Your legacy will not be measured by the things you owned or the titles you held. It will be measured by the way your children feel when they think of you. Will they feel safe? Will they feel loved? Will they feel proud to be part of your story? Those are the questions that matter most. Patterson's life reminds us that the impact of one person's dedication can reach farther than we ever imagine. As a father, your dedication is shaping not just your children's lives, but the lives they will touch in turn. Someday, they will carry your lessons into their own families, their own communities, their own stories. Your love will echo through generations you will never meet. So be encouraged. You are doing sacred work. You are writing a story of love, resilience, and hope that will outlast you. You are the hero in a story your children will tell long after you are gone, and every day you choose to love them, imperfectly, patiently, wholeheartedly. You are fulfilling the greatest calling you will ever have. One of the most important things every father must remember is that you don't have to wait for permission to be the dad your children need. No one will ever tap you on the shoulder and declare you ready. Readiness is not a moment you arrive at. It's a decision you make every day to step into this role with intention and love. James Patterson never waited for the world to agree that he was good enough to be a writer. He started where he was with what he had, and he committed himself to the work. As a father, you are called to do the same. Start where you are, use what you have, give what you can, and trust that it is enough. There will be days when you feel invisible, when the effort you pour into your family goes unacknowledged. But invisibility is not insignificance. Sometimes the most important work is the work no one sees. Sometimes the greatest love is the love that goes unspoken, but is felt in the quiet, steady presence of a father who never leaves. Your children may not have the words to express how much you mean to them. They may not always say thank you. But someday, when they are grown, they will look back and see that every sacrifice, every moment of patience, every late night and early morning was an expression of a love so deep it defies description. Patterson understood that if you want to create something meaningful, you must be willing to face discomfort. Rejection letters, harsh reviews, long hours. He embraced them all because he believed in what he was building. As a father, you will face your own discomforts. Sleepless nights, worries you never knew you could carry, questions you can't always answer, but your willingness to stay, even when it's hard, teaches your children that real love is not about convenience. It's about commitment, and commitment does not require perfection. It requires presence. It requires you to keep showing up, even on days when you feel like you have nothing left to give. In those moments, remember that your presence is the most powerful gift of all. No toy, no experience, no amount of money can replace the simple act of being there. Your presence tells your children that they are worthy of time, worthy of attention, worthy of love. Patterson's life also teaches us that growth never ends. Even after decades of success, he kept learning, kept adapting, kept experimenting. As a father, you are always growing, too. Every stage of your child's life will ask something new of you. When they are small, they need your protection. When they grow older, they need your guidance. When they become adults, they will need your respect. And through it all, they will always need your love. Never underestimate the power of small, daily rituals. The stories you read before bed, the good night kiss, the way you say, "I love you." Even after a hard day, these rituals become part of your children's sense of safety and belonging. They remind your children that no matter what happens in the world, there is a place where they are always welcome. You will not always see the impact you are making. Sometimes it will feel like your words fall on deaf ears. Sometimes you will wonder if your sacrifices are worth it. In those moments, remember that you are planting seeds. Some will grow quickly, others will take years to sprout, but in time, you will see the fruit of your labor. You will see the confidence, the kindness, the resilience that your love has nurtured. Patterson's success is a testament to the value of staying true to yourself. He never tried to imitate other writers. He trusted his own voice. As a father, trust your instincts. You know your children better than anyone. You know what they need, what comforts them, what inspires them. You don't have to follow someone else's blueprint. You have everything you need inside you. And when you feel unsure, when you feel like you are failing, remember that love covers a multitude of mistakes. Your children don't need you to be perfect. They need you to care. They need you to keep trying. They need you to love them, even when you don't know exactly what to do. James Patterson also reminds us that success is not an end point. It is a journey. Even after reaching milestones most writers only dream of, he never stopped moving forward. As a father, you will have seasons when things feel easier and seasons when everything feels hard. But every season has value. Every season teaches you something new about yourself and about your children. There will be moments when you look at your children and feel a swell of pride so big it almost hurts. Hold on to those moments. Let them remind you why this work matters. Let them sustain you when the days feel long. And when you look at your children, remember that you are looking at the greatest legacy you will ever leave behind. Your influence will live on in them, in the way they treat others, in the way they love, in the way they face the world. Patterson's stories have been read by millions. Your story as a father will be read by a few, but to those few, it will be the most important story ever told. Your story will teach them what it means to be loved, what it means to be safe, what it means to belong. If you ever wonder whether you are doing enough, let me remind you of this: you are. Every time you choose to love your children, imperfectly, patiently, fiercely, you are writing a story they will carry with them forever. So keep going, keep showing up, keep believing that your love matters, even when no one sees it. Because it does. It matters more than you will ever know. And someday, when your children are grown, they will tell the story of their lives. They will talk about the people who shaped them, the moments that defined them, the lessons that stayed with them. And in that story, your name will be spoken with gratitude. They will remember the sacrifices you made, the patience you showed, the love you gave without measure. That is the story you are writing right now. One day it will be their favorite story of all.